What's good, ladies and gentlemen? So I promised I was going to put out an example of the Patron only content, because if you become a patron of SK Wealth Academy, which you can do by going to Patreon, patreon.com/SK Wealth Academy, then the top level, which is the transcendent level, which is only $5 a month. You get 2 additional podcasts per month. So you get a lot more content, which each podcast is about 20 to 40 minutes a piece. And the 2 podcasts can cover a wide range of topics, anything from critical thinking skills to certain studies that have been conducted recently that shows the demise of critical thinking in society in general, in every nation in the world, and why I believe this is really important to be able to get through whatever the madness that is going on in society today, whether it's the madness between political conflict, whether it's which is going to increase undoubtedly, because there are just so many there's so many countries that have been grounded by economic sanctions by the West, primarily the US and the UK, and sometimes France. And these nations are seemingly endless. There are just so many nations: Burundi, the Central African Republic, Cuba, Iran, Libya, Syria, Lebanon, Venezuela, Nicaragua, Russia, Somalia, Sudan, Ukraine, Yemen, Zimbabwe. I'm sure I'm missing more. That's just like an incomplete list of countries in which severe economic sanctions have been enforced by Western nations that really, a lot of these nations, a lot of Westerners don't know, but the citizens and governments of these nations actually view such economic sanctions because they put a stranglehold on society. A lot of times, essential raw goods cannot be imported into the nation. So really, a lot of this nation's citizens suffer. For example, even raw materials necessary to manufacture pharmaceutical drugs sometimes are blocked by these economic sanctions. So people that are critically ill may need certain drugs to treat terminal illness. They can't get it, and then they start dying. So that's why a lot of these nations look at these type of economic sanctions as a declaration of war against them. So we're going to see a lot more chaos in this world, I believe. So I'll talk about issues like this, not only perhaps more military conflicts, but even economic chaos. We're certainly going to see something that is going to far exceed what happened in 2008 in the global financial crisis. And I wouldn't be shocked if that happens in the second half of this year, 2020. So if we are not really working on sharpening our critical thinking skills, which is a skill which requires work and it requires struggle to do, then we are most likely to get blindsided. So that's the importance of those topics of podcasts. And the second one are just wealth building. So I talk about many issues, and I also, for my transcendent level patrons, they also receive 3 to 5 weekly videos that are much shorter. So the podcast is just an audio podcast. The videos are actually videos, and those will amount anywhere from like 2 to 5 minutes a piece. And there's 3 to 5 of those are released to my patrons, transcendent level patrons. You can see all the benefits of the different levels if you go to patreon.com/SK Wealth Academy. So let me just review some of the things that I spoke about. Last year I discussed, I suggested that my patrons should consider shorting Tesla when it was about $350 to $375 a year. That was about a year ago, and it went to $180 a share. So it almost got cut in half by mid-2019. So obviously, if you open up put options that were a few months out and an expiration date, you probably made a good grip of profit on that particular point. I talked about, I talked very specifically about certain opportunities I see. I also discussed last year shorting Deutsche Bank twice when it was between about $8 to $8.50 a share. Both times, this led to either triple-digit returns or high double-digit returns in just a few days to a couple of weeks after I spoke about these opportunities. I also discussed a price point considering a specific gold mining stock, and I gave a price range in which to purchase that. And after I discussed this opportunity, this gold mining stock went up 200% in price in 1 month. I also spoke about shorting Boeing stock before the stock descended a lot. I discussed shorting it about $370 to $375 a share, and it went to $320.61 a share in just a few weeks. So again, this was an opportunity. If you had opened up put options, you should have made a considerable amount of money. I'm just going to read you now something I said in a note to my patrons. I said, quote, if there were a time for gold to be taken down to $1,450 an ounce and silver back down to $17 an ounce between September 30th and October 8th of last year, 2019, would be the time frame to do so, end quote. So what happened during that time frame? Gold went to $1,465. So it didn't quite go to $1,450, but it was just $15 away. Silver actually dropped to $17 as I had predicted. So, and even if you missed that opportunity, because I gave you bottom levels of where gold and silver were likely heading before the reversal happened, I said you could have waited another month, and then gold dropped to $1,450. It actually did reach my prediction just a little later, and silver dropped slightly below $17 in December. So silver actually went a little bit lower than the bottom level I had predicted. So I was a little bit off, but it just went a little bit lower, and then it went right back up. On October 3rd of last year, I said short CB Richard Ellis stock at $55 a share, or at least that's the opportunity, because I'm not a financial advisor, but I do. I have been in this business for a long time, so I do see opportunities. I speak about that. So some people say, hey, you used to have this consulting business and we're in this research business. How come you're not doing this? Because I believe education is more important. So that's why I'm really working hard now to get my SK Wealth Academy off the ground. I was planning to incorporate in Hong Kong. That's the delay. It should have actually been launched at the end of last year. I'm working hard now to find an alternative solution now that Hong Kong is a mess, and that's probably not going to happen. So October 3rd, I said short CBRE stock at $55 a share. It promptly dropped 9.5% to less than $49 a share. Again, another big winner. So as well, I provide regular updates as far as what I speak about is primarily financial things, primarily financial tips, investment tips on the weekly videos, just short weekly videos. I always provide updates in gold and silver market. So if you miss some of the opportunities, there always will be other opportunities in the future. So for example, as far as this recent turnaround in gold and silver, I gave exact levels. So for the GDX VanEck Gold Miners ETF, I said if GDX bounces off 26, pulls back, but it holds at 26.7. I gave exact price level, and I said if the Huey reaches 215, but then turns around or descends somewhere around that region and then reverses, I said that is when gold and silver will reverse if you're seeking to buy. Now that happened on December 6th, I believe, and that was the exact date gold and silver prices have reversed. And for those of you that follow gold and silver, you know it has reversed very strongly into this year of 2020. So again, I was on point on that call as well. And then last August, I said go long in soybeans if you want to play the agricultural markets. If prices drop to $8.50 to $8.80, and it basically dropped into this price range in early December, and it went to $9.61 per bushel. I believe that's the unit soybeans is measured in at the end of last year, and that was a 10.8% rise in soybean prices in less than a month, which is a huge rise for a commodity. So these are just some of the things, so you know, if you become a patron, that you will receive access to. So again, just go to patreon.com/SK Wealth Academy for more information. Okay, as always, remain intensely curious. Have a beautiful day, beautiful evening wherever you are. Hope you're having a very happy and fruitful start to 2020. And always remember, light up the darkness and speak power to truth. Bless up.